Welcome to This Ready to Craft. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create this farmhouse basket using Readi-Board. To begin, I've printed off my template. This template was made specifically for this contact paper that I picked up at my local Dollar Tree. Depending on the contact paper that you choose, you may need to make some measurement adjustments. I'm going to begin by following the small measure guides on the template. Once those pieces have been cut out, I'm going to move on to the irregular shape. I'll start by trimming away the little white borders left by my printer. I'm going to use some rubber cement to temporarily attach my paper to my foam board. You could also use repositionable spray adhesive. As noted on the pattern, I need to add an additional 3 inches past the dotted line. If you prefer your basket to be taller or shorter, this is a good place to adjust the pattern. Then I'll cut my shape out. I'll use the piece that I just cut out as a template for the other half. Remove the print from the first side that you cut out. Next, we're going to use the red lines of the pattern. I need to add a little more rubber cement to make sure my paper sticks. If it helps you to have a guide while cutting, you can draw the line all the way across. Now, following the guides, I'm going to score my foam board. When scoring, you only want to cut through the top piece of paper and a little bit of the foam. Be careful not to cut all the way through. Remove the template pieces and carefully bend until the foam of the foam board separates. We want to be able to fold this piece inward so that the outside is nice and smooth for our contact paper. To do this, we're going to have to remove a little bit of the foam. I'm going to use my ruler as a brace and try to hold my knife at a 45-degree angle, keeping the point of the knife in that score mark that we made earlier. Once again, try not to go all the way through. Having a sharp blade makes this part a lot easier. I usually will switch to a new blade right before doing these kinds of cuts. What we are trying to do is remove a triangle piece of foam. Make sure to do both sides. You can see, now that we have removed that little bit of foam board, we can fold the piece inward. The ends aren't quite meeting, so I'll probably have to remove a little bit more. Here's a little detail that will make your basket look more realistic. I'm going to rough up the edges of the board that are going to be visible. While I am doing this, I'm thinking about what an old board might look like on the edges. You'll want to texture these two irregular pieces and one long edge on both of your side pieces. I'm also going to take a couple little notches out of the top here, again trying to mimic wood. Get creative and see what tools you can use. Getting ready to paint those edges, I'm looking at the dark portions of my contact paper. They're a little gray and a little green, so I'm going to mix up some acrylic paint and try to match it. Then I'll paint the edges. I like to use an old paintbrush for this because sometimes you really have to work the paint into any crevices you made. Once the paint is dry, we can begin applying the wood texture. To smooth down my contact paper, I'm using a knockdown knife. These are typically used for applying wall texture and can be found in a home improvement store. Stick down one part, and then work your way across while removing the rest of the backing. Any larger pieces I'll stick back onto the backing sheet to be able to use later. When I've made sure that my contact paper is really stuck on there, I'm going to use my hobby knife to trim close to the edge. This is going to be the inside face of my side panel. I'm going to use these little scrap pieces to cover up this edge just in case it's visible after I put my flowers in. Because they will probably get covered up, it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to compare my inside face to the inside of the handle supports. This way I know how far down my contact paper needs to go. You could cover both sides of the whole piece, but I found that the hot glue tends to stick better to the foam board paper than it does the contact paper. I'm going to use a little bit of hot glue to close my handle piece. It's important that you be familiar with your hot glue gun. This happens to be a pretty low temperature one, so I'm not worried about burning myself. Once it's been glued all the way across, I'll trim away any of the glue that seeped out. To apply the contact paper to this piece, I found it easier to sort of roll the handle to get everything to stick. I'm also going to trim the edges before I stick everything down. It's a little easier to do when you have a flat piece to cut. Finally, we get to glue everything together. I'm going to attach the sides to one of the handle support pieces. I also like to run some hot glue on these corners for a little added support. Before I put on my other handle support, I'm going to attach my bottom. Because I partially assembled the sides first, I am able to trim the bottom if it doesn't fit perfectly. I'm going to test fit to make sure I like how it sits, and then glue it in. I used a generous amount of hot glue to attach the handles. I also took the time to use a little piece of scrap foam board to scrape away any excess glue that squished out. This just gives an overall cleaner look to the finished product. To support my floral stems, I'm going to create a little platform inside my box. You could use floral foam for this, but I happen to have a lot of Readi-Board. So I'm going to measure the inside dimensions and cut a piece that shape. I'm also going to cut 1/2-inch strips to act as supports. Before I start gluing, I'm going to give myself a guide to make sure everything's on the same level. Then glue in the support strips. I'll test fit my top piece and glue that in as well. I also found this mesh ribbon at the dollar store while I was picking up supplies. I like that it has an organic look, so I'm going to glue this around the inside edge. add enough ribbon to go around the basket twice. I'm also going to glue down some of this moss. Little details like this just make the basket look more natural. You don't need to use a lot of glue. The floral stems will help hold this in place later. All of the flowers that I used in this project also came from the Dollar Tree. I like to prep all of my stems before I begin working. Most of the time that means cutting away the individual pieces and gluing down any leaves or flowers that might be loose. Make sure you keep any stems that are just greenery. They may not be as pretty as the flowers, but they are really useful for filling out empty spaces. I'm starting with my grass first because it's the tallest. From there, I'll just try different flowers and colors and see what looks best. I try to think about spacing out the different flowers, different colors, and different textures evenly across the arrangement. Fill your basket until you think it looks good. Once you're done, it's time to show off your fabulous farmhouse basket. If you try this craft out, we'd love to see it. Our social media links can be found in the description. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If there's a foam board craft that you would like to see, let us know in the comments.